Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. So glad you're here. What do we got going on? Well, the markets are still in that topping pattern. I do think we're going to start coming down probably next week. That's my guess. The markets, the Qs, they pushed them up, right? That's the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ, maybe they're trying to get that double top. It came up and it filled the gap. And I think we're going to head lower. I think the NASDAQ's broken. I think the NASDAQ is going to lead the market lower. That's just my take. A lot of you think that the market's going to double from here, that we're going to have a crack up boom. The Dow at 42,000. I think that's making a top. I think that's going to come in. You see, now my take is that the Dow is going to go 1-to-1 with gold. Dow's at 42,000, gold's at 2,600. Okay, now so I'm going to be shorting the market and hoping that the market comes down. That's what I'll be betting on. But I'll be betting on that against my gold position because I think my gold position is still going to go up. Now, a lot of people think that gold is topping out here. Now, I think it is due for a pullback. I'm praying for a pullback. I want to buy some more, but it just keeps going up day after day after day. Now, it's funny. Okay, my brother-in-law, I think he watches the show. Hi, DJ, if you're watching. But anyways, he just sends me a text. He's GLD, right? He's got the gold ETF and he says it's, he's made some money in it. Should he sell it? And my reply was, yes, you should sell it immediately and buy physical gold. And he went on to his little rant about why the GLD is so much better than physical gold. Now, for trading, if you're just trying to make a buck in and out of the market, I agree that, trading, you got to use the ETFs because they're easier to get in and out of, but that's trying to make a buck. If you're trying to build wealth for yourself, you want the physical metal. And I went into a few ways, but he wasn't convinced. He thinks the GLD, the ETFs are the way to go. And for him, it is. He's just trying to, make a dollar, goes up, sell it, comes down, buy some more. Okay, so for trading, you use the ETFs. For building wealth, I recommend the physical gold. Now, I say that we're going to go back on a gold standard, and I got a lot of pushback for that. But Mike, it's impossible. It would never work. And this one guy, he went on to explain to me how every business would have to get gold equipment to test, the gold. Well, you see, gold has been money for 5,000 years, right? I mean, we've had it in the coins. There were actually $20 coins, and those coins were made out of gold, right? You didn't need any gold tester when they went into the business. I think we got to put the money back into our system, right? The real money, the gold and the silver. Now, gold keeps going up every day, every day, every day. It won't break. It won't come back down. Now, don't get me wrong. When the stock market comes down, I do think the gold market is going to have a pullback with it. Probably going to pull back 20, maybe even 30%. That means gold up here, 2,600, 2,700, could easily come back down to 2,000. And that will be the buying opportunity. Once again, I recommend a physical if you can find it at that point. When the stock market comes crashing down, the gold market will probably pull back with it. But the gold market will not come down as far as the stock market, and the gold market will be taking off up to higher highs. So where we're at right now, 2,700, is absolutely nothing. This is the start. This is just the starting point, right? It's going to go a lot higher, 5,000, 10,000. Now, why do I say that? Why do I say that? Well, a lot of people, well, let's start with this. A lot of people think that, they say, but Mike, if the stock market comes down, they're just going to print more money and push the stock market higher. That's why we're going to have a crack up boom in the stock market, and they're going to inflate the stock market for the Dow Jones. A lot of people think that's going to 100,000. We're at 42,000. My take is it's going to come down by a half, down to 20,000, right? And that's probably where gold will rise up and meet it. But let's say the stock market does go up to 100,000. Where will gold be? Probably up at 50, 50,000. You see, that's where I'm going to start to sell my gold. Now, my brother-in-law, he wants to start to sell his gold now because he's made some money, right? Now, I started stacking gold at $300, and I have not sold 1 ounce of gold along the way. I keep stacking it, right? When I can afford another ounce of gold, I go and buy another ounce of gold, and I keep adding to my position, right, of the physical. Now, I trade the ETFs also, and they're great for trading, and they serve a purpose. But I do believe you want to be in physical gold because that's when the system comes down. And once again, he explained to me why the system could never come down. And now you guys may want to leave him some comments. You see, if people don't want to understand this, my point of view, and he may be completely right. I mean, he may be completely right that the system just goes and continues along at its current rate. But my take is the whole system is going to be coming down when the banks start to fail. He's saying that's impossible. Well, okay, maybe it is, maybe it's not. My take is that it is possible and that it is even imminent, that it is going to happen. You're going to see the banks start falling over, and you're going to see the financial system coming down. And if you can get your money out of the banks, if you can get your money out of the brokerage firms, that's why you want to have the physical metals, no counterparty risk, right? I mean, you own them, you hold them, they're yours, they're your physical wealth, right? So that's why you want the physical. But could we have a crack up boom where we go from 42,000 on the Dow up to 100,000? Absolutely we could. They could print as much money as they want. That is their only tool. But that is why gold is going up every day, because they might do that, because they have weaponized the dollar against Russia, and the other countries fear that we will weaponize the dollar against them. You see, the central banks around the world, they own $8 trillion worth of these dollars, and they see the dollar becoming worth less and less and less every day. It becomes worth less because we have to print money just to pay our bills, right? I mean, we don't have any money. The government's broke, so we have to continue to print money, right? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to continue to print money. Now, I say it's not going to push the market up higher. We've been doing it for 14 years, 16 years. Why will it stop? Because it becomes ineffective, right? Before, we used to print $1, get $3 added to the GDP. Now we have to print $3 to get $1 added to the GDP. It's the opposite. The printing of money has stopped working. It's not working as well as it has been. And when we have to print 10, 20 trillion dollars, it's going to stop working completely. Now, here's an interesting point. You see the wealth gap in America, right? I mean, the extremely rich people, they think the economy is perfect. They think it's working wonderfully because they got all their gold stashed away. They own all the assets, the stocks, the real estate, the bonds. And as long as you print money in nominal terms, these will keep going up, right? I mean, your house is going up in nominal terms, but in real terms, it's getting beat over the head with a club. It's actually coming down. And against gold and silver, against real money, it's actually crashing. Okay, so what they're going to do is they're going to keep printing money, right? And people at the rich end of things think that's great. Now, at the poor end of things, you're getting crushed because the price of food keeps going up, price of gas keeps going up. You're getting destroyed, right? You're in the Great Depression already, but the depression is coming. It's for everybody. It's not here yet, even for the wealthy. But they will continue this printing of money. Now, here's the thing. All right, I was reading this article. Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, he's a great businessman. I mean, I give him credit, absolutely. He's on schedule to become the first trillionaire, not billionaire, trillionaire. Now, when I was a kid, if you were a millionaire, I mean, that meant something, right? But now we're going to have trillionaires, and Elon, he's worth about $250 billion, I guess. His money doubles every year, right? 110% a year is what his money compounds at. Now, why is that? It's called the Cantillon effect. Okay, now when you're printing of money, the government's printing trillions and trillions of dollars. The ones closest to the money, they get the money, right? I mean, okay, so he gets the subsidies for his cars, your electric vehicles. So he gets all the government subsidies. You take away the government subsidies, Elon would not have his $250 billion in net worth, right? But since you are the closest to the government, when they print the money, it's got to go somewhere. It goes into the pockets of these businessmen that are closest to the government. Now, why is Elon writing checks checks to Donald Trump. What's he paying? I don't know, $40 million a month, right? Is it because he really likes the Donald so much? No, it's because he thinks of it as an investment. When the Donald gets elected, Elon's going to get even closer to where the money printing is, and he's going to be really tight. So his $40 million, he'll probably be able to 10x that investment, 10 times his investment, by being closest to the money. It's called the Cantillon effect, and that's how he's going to become the first trillionaire, right? He's going to get closest to the money, and he's doing that by writing the checks to the Donald. Then they're going to continue the printing of money. Now, what happens to the poor people? Well, actually, I know. Now, here's interesting. Okay, I used to know someone that worked really close with Elon at SpaceX. He was very high up in the company, and he'd have breakfast with Elon once a week, and he hated it because Elon has breakfast at 4 in the morning. That guy doesn't sleep. He's a workaholic. I mean, he works all the time, right? He doesn't sleep. So he'd have to get up and meet Elon at 4 in the morning for breakfast, right? And he didn't like that. He actually quit. He said he was an impossible man to work for. Okay, so that's just one little story there. But anyways, I have another friend. He works at Tesla, right? He's his assembly line. He assembles the doors onto the cars. If you drive a Tesla, he might have been the one that put the door on your car, right? He's an assembly guy, right? But he doesn't make enough money to live indoors. He actually lives in his car, but he works at Tesla. And, it's funny, the other day, he works the night shift there. And so anyways, he was asleep in his car because he lives in his car, and he was in the parking lot, and they thought he was a bum, but he had to show him, no, I work here. I'm just early for my shift, and I'm taking a nap. But he lives in his car. He sleeps in his car, and that's what he does. Works the night shift at Tesla, but doesn't make enough money to live indoors. He is not part of the Cantillon effect. He is not close to the printing of money. He is poor. As food prices go up, he has a hard time eating, even though he has a full-time job. Very fascinating. Poor people now have full-time jobs, and they live in their car. That's very sad. But here's the thing about gold. Why does gold keep going up every day, every day, every day? And I'm praying for the pullback. I think the pullback is coming. I think we could pull back 2,200. I don't think we're going back to 2,000. But if you get down to 2,200, that's a buying opportunity. Up here at 2,600, 2,700. So anyways, it keeps going up every day because of these central banks. The central banks see what's going on with the currency, with our currency, with the Federal Reserve notes that they own. They own $8 trillion of these things, right? And they don't want them anymore because they see they're going down, 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 losing the purchasing power. So they're trying to replace it into something of value. Now, what is that? That's gold, right? Gold is taking off. It's taking off. And they're going to put $8 trillion more dollars into it as long as they can. There's going to come a point where no amount of dollars is going to be able to buy you 1 ounce of gold because the dollar is going to go away. I got a lot of pushback on that from people also. They're telling me the dollar, it's impossible for it to go away. It's the reserve currency. Look, the dollar is a fiat currency, right? And every fiat currency in the history of the world has failed. The dollar will fail also, and eventually it will not be able to buy you anything. Once again, this is just my take. Now, you may have a completely different take that King Dollar is going to rule the world again. I think it's seen its day. I think it's at the end of the currency life cycle, and you have to get out of it. You have to start pulling your currency out of the banks, putting it into real money. That's what I'm doing. You do whatever you want to do, but I think that the real money is where you want to be right now. Now, the reason gold keeps going up every day is because these central banks keep taking their currency, dumping that, buying gold hand over fist by the metric ton, right? And they keep buying it by the metric ton, billions of dollars at a time. Now, this is interesting. This is why silver is not doing as well as gold. Well, let's talk about the gold-silver ratio. Now, back in the day, we're talking about 400 BC. Back in the days of Babylon, it was physically set at 15-to-1 ratio. 15-to-1 ratio was the ratio that gold and silver were set at, right? 15-to-1. Where are we at today? We're in modern times. We're at 85-to-1. We've been as high as 120-to-1, and we may go back to that 120-to-1. The reason is because these central banks have to dump their dollars and they have to get into something of value. But Mike, they could buy Bitcoin. That's something of value. Look at the central banks don't want Bitcoin. They want something of real physical value. Bitcoin, another fiat currency, if you will, if you want to call it the currency. It's never actually been used as money. I know some people can make a purchase with Bitcoin, but it's never been the currency of like the reserve currency, like gold and silver for 5,000 years. They were the reserve currency, and they're still the reserve currency because they're the only thing that are real money. What we have is fake money, printed paper, costs 3 cents to print the $1 bill, costs 3 cents to print the $100 bill. There's really no difference. Costs 3 cents to print each one, and they're both pretty much going to be worth the same value, which will be zero. They're going to zero. Yes, that's my take. But okay, so anyways, the reason that silver is not going up, right? I mean, silver, it's probably going to be 100 to 1. But when silver starts to see what's going on, starts to take place in the rally, you'll get that silver back down to, well, at least 50 to 1, probably down to 20 to 1, right? I mean, that's just the way I see it. I mean, when gold was 800, made that 800 high back in 1980, silver was $50, right? So what was, the ratio there was what? I mean, 16 to 1 or something, right? Okay, so anyway, silver can go back, can swing back to that. So silver is still the best buy right here, even though gold is outperforming and it keeps going higher and higher and higher. Silver is going to play catch up at some point, but the central banks, they don't buy silver because it's too small of a market for them. You see, central banks, they buy billions of dollars at a time of gold, and if they bought billions of dollars at silver, well, there's not enough silver to buy, so they don't mess around with the silver. But silver will catch up, cheapest asset on the planet right now. So I think that the silver market is really the buy here. I keep stacking both gold and silver whenever I can find them available. The physical is getting a little bit harder to come by from my local coin shop. Anyways, that's just my take. I'm Tall Mike. If you like this stuff, give me the thumbs up. Punch that subscribe button. Get out there, everybody. Have a great day. We'll talk again real soon. Bye-bye now.